Okay guys, the first thing we want to do is let's just go ahead and open the journal and let's make sure we have everything in here that we need to have. Good morning, Diego. So I think that's everything. You don't need anything, sweetie. Okay, so I'm going to be on page 38 and I'm going to put down the title of today's assignment. So you're all going to have different questions and that's okay. Okay, going to give you a second to write that in your journal. Okay, so it looks like we got about half of us there. I'm going to go ahead and slide over to page 38. Please put the title at the top. I wrote poorly, but it's Quadratics text practice. And then the rest of this, don't write down because you're going to have different questions than I do, okay? So once you have this written down, stop writing and just watch. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to do, so everybody understands that I'm going to do a question that you don't have, so you don't write this down, right? Don't write this down? Okay, so if I gave you this, if I told you to factor without even seeing the equation, what do you know you're supposed to do? Draw the what? Draw the big X. So you're going to have a question that looks like this. Don't write it down. You have different numbers. You have different numbers, you have different numbers, you have different numbers. Okay? What number goes in the top, y'all? Negative 18. What number goes in the bottom? So I'm going to do 8 and 10. What about the signs on those? Those multiply to a positive 80, but did they add to a negative 18? So what do I need to change? One of them or both of them, or which one? Both of them. And then just go ahead and set up your parentheses. Okay? There's going to be 5 questions similar to that. Let me show you some variations on the same thing. Don't write this down. Don't write this down. Don't write this down. Don't write this down. I'm giving you different questions. Everyone has different questions. Can I factor a 3 out of everything? You can't. I could take it out of this, but 29 is actually prime, and 56 is not a multiple of 3. So what number goes in the top? 29, and I need 3 and 56. I don't need to know what 3 times 56 is. I just need to know what the factors are. So I'm going to leave the 3. What are 2 numbers that multiply to 56?
7, 8.
7 and 8. Okay. If I put 3 with the 7, I would have 21. If I put 3 with the 8, I would have 24. Which one do you think is going to get us there closer? If I put 3, okay, so if I did 3 with the 8, that would be 24 plus 7. Is that going to get us to 29? So what if we did 3 with this 3 with the 7, which is 21 plus 8? Does that get us there? It does. So we're going to put the 3 and the 7 together. Are you guys okay that those multiply to whatever this was? Are you okay that those add to that? Okay, so this is the part that most people get a little bit messed up on. Almost everybody's good at setting this up. Now, if you used the X here instead of the A, I wouldn't take points off. I don't care what letter as long as it's consistent. So these need to be the same letter as each other. But I don't care if you write it as an X or an A. The next thing I would do, most of y'all can do this step just fine, but what's the next step that people might forget?
Bring it down.
We multiplied by 3, so what do we need to do? Divide by 3. Does that divide nicely?
Yeah.
If it divides nicely, leave it alone. If it doesn't divide nicely,
Put it in front.
yeah. That's it for that one. Now again, you have different questions, so do you want to write this down? I mean, you can if you want, but you're going to have different questions. You're going to have, for sure, something that has big numbers, like look at your answer choices. Your answer choices are going to tell you what to pull out. If they're all pulling the same number out, pull that number out. So on this one, almost all the answer choices had a 4 out front. So I'm going to put a 4 out front. How do I figure out what's left inside? Just divide by 4. What's 24 divided by 4? Someone said 6. What's 28 divided by 4? 96 divided by 4 might not be so intuitive. If you don't know it off the top of your head, where could you look? Calculator. It's going to be 20 and 4. Because it's 4 cents short of $1. What goes in the top? What goes in the bottom? 6 times negative 24. Okay? The negative is important because that means one of these is going to be negative. Is there any way for 6 and 24 to add or subtract to 7? No, so we're going to need to break this down some more. Why don't we look at 6 and 4, or 3 and 8, or 12 and 2? Which one do you guys want to do? I'm going to do 6, 24. I'm gonna play with that. I don't know. I'm gonna try 3 and 8. If I put the 6 and the 3 together, that would be 18 and 8. That's not very good. That gets me 10, but that doesn't give me 7, so that's not gonna work. The 6 and the 8 for sure isn't gonna work. So that didn't help me out very much. So I'm gonna try, what about 6 and 4? I could do 36 and 4, but that doesn't help me. And that would just get me back to 24 and that. Okay, what if I break this down? We could do 12 and 12. That doesn't really help. I could do, yeah, that would be 12 and 12. I could do 18 and 8, same thing. Still not helping me out. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just triple check my math that these numbers are right, and then I'm going to try again. Divide it by... What about... That could work. Okay, so what I'm doing, let me walk you through what I'm doing in my head. It's turning itself off. So what I did is I just took those numbers, 6 times 24. Are you guys okay? That's a 144. Okay, so I just took this 144 and I broke that down as 12 and 12. Are you guys okay with that? Are you okay that I broke this down as 3 and 4? Is that okay? That would be 16 and that would be 9. Are you guys seeing it? 16 and 9. Are you okay that those multiply to 144?
Oh, it was negative 9.
Negative on the 9 would get me to the 7. So I'm going to keep the 4 in front. And then we set up our parentheses. So it's going to be v plus 16, v minus 16. Since we multiplied by 6, what do we got to remember? Oh, that's not 16, sorry. Since we multiplied by 16, 6. Man, I can't talk today. Since I multiplied by 6, we divide by 6. Now, if you can, you reduce it. What can I take out of both of those?
2.
2. So what's 16 divided by 2?
8. 8.
What's 6 divided by 2?
3.
Okay? So I have 8 over 3. That 3 we're going to put in front. Is that okay with you guys? What about 9 over 6? What can we take out of everything? Take a 3. So what does that leave the 9 as?
3.
What does that leave the 6 as? And then just put the 2 in front. Okay? You guys with me? Okay? You're going to have one for sure where it's a difference of squares. So that's, for example, it could be 25x squared minus 16. What we want you to recognize is this is like a squared minus b squared. And whenever you have that relationship where both things are everything squared, it's just a plus b, a minus b. It's called a difference of squares. So what's the square root of 25? What's the square root of 5? Of x. Square root of 16?
4.
So plus 4, minus 4, and you're done. You're going to have one where it's called a perfect square. Something like this. Nothing can come out, nothing simplifies, it's not beautiful. But can you guys recognize that that's a perfect square, 25p squared? Do you see how that's a 4 squared? Okay, so this would be like 25 times 16. And this would be 4 up here. Is that okay? Sorry, 40. I wrote it down wrong. 40. So far, so good? Okay. I would say 5, 5, 4, 4. 20 and 20. See how those are the same? When those are the same, it's called a perfect square. We multiplied by 25, so what do we need to do? Divide. What can I take out of both of those?
A 5.
A 5. What's it make the top? What's it make the bottom?
5.
And then just put it in front. And that's the exact same thing. So instead of writing it twice, you just say twice. Okay, there's going to be one graphing one. Now on CUDA, I can't ask you all the questions I'd like as a multiple choice. So I'm asking you to show me your work. On here, you've got to look at the directions. In the directions, I'm telling you to find me the vertex. I'm asking you to find the y-intercept. I'm asking you to find the x-intercept. And I'm asking you if it opens up or down. So if I gave you this equation, negative x squared minus 8x minus 12, what could you tell me without having to do any math? It opens down. What else could you tell me? Where do the zeros go? On the x-intercept, first number or second number? What else do you know? What's the y-intercept? You guys with me? Okay, now to show your work on this one, factor a negative out because you can't have a negative. It's a 12 but adds to 8. Ooh, 6 and 2, good. Now, this is good enough for me to understand how you went here. What did I do? I flipped the signs, right? What's halfway between negative 6 and negative 2? Negative...
4.5.
Just 4. And then I'm fine if you want to put this in the calculator, graph it, and get the other coordinate. That's fine with me. There'll be a couple questions where you have to multiply it out. Give me any number you want, 1 to 10.
8.
3x plus 8. I heard 5x plus 6. Are you okay with that? Okay, just multiply it. What's 3x plus 5x?
8x.
You're right, I asked it wrong. What's 3x times 5x?
15 squared, x squared.
15x squared. 3x times 6?
18x.
8 times 5x?
40x squared. No,
Just x, yep. 8 times 6?
42?
48.
No.
And then what can go together? What are your like terms? Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's it, you guys. Nothing new, just practicing. If you get stuck, ask for help. I'm going to be going through grades and talking to kids who need to make up their